Well, hello, Charles Kemp, Mayor of Fairmont. Glad to have you in my home again. This is my study. You've been here twice before. If you keep on, I'm going to have to make you a permanent resident. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm able to bring you these videos. I have attached this video to a text of the same topic, so you'll be able to read some of what I have already said and maybe then some other things as well. Today's video is entitled Just Kidding Around. And it's not going to be a joke or stand-up comedy routine. I'm sure you may be expecting that from me. No, it's going to be serious, but it's about young people. It's about our kids. And so I want to take a few minutes and talk to you on this topic today, as I will each topic from here on out, a specific targeted issue or target. The earliest I remember having any kind of organized recreation for young people in Fairmont was in the 60s when the late Linwood Rich, my dear friend Linwood Rich, whose father was the pastor at First Baptist Church, South Main Street, invited me to help him have an organized recreation activity at what now is the middle school gym. Then it was the Fairmont High School gym. And we had lots of fun there. Soccer, indoor soccer, volleyball, kickball, shuffleboard, ping pong, badminton, a lot of stuff. I don't remember, I'll be honest with you, that was 60 years ago. You have to forgive me. I don't remember how long it lasted. It may have been just the one summer. But that was pretty much it. And then I started teaching after my graduation from college at Marietta Elementary School. My first year was 1969, 1970. And I was there for 1 year, and then Mr. McLean moved me up to the high school. There I met the late Charles Williamson, dear friend of mine, carpentry teacher, ag teacher at Fairmont High School. And he and I got real close with the freshmen and others, but mostly the freshmen of 1970-71. And so we decided to have some place, a recreational area for the young people. I went to the town and asked them for support, and they agreed to pay the rent on a building on Thompson Street. And Charles Williamson, with his brilliant carpentry skills, remodeled the inside of a building. And we opened Fairmont Youth Center in 1970. And it was wonderful. Kids came up there after school during the week, on the weekends, Sunday afternoons. We had a wonderful time. Unfortunately, for 3 years, we had this every day in some way at some time. We had a ping pong table in there, had one of those 25-cent quarter pool tables, jukebox, couch and chairs in the back room with the television. It was a hangout place for kids, and they loved it. We never caused any problems. They never have the police called. I wouldn't have allowed anything like that. But in 1973, I was given the opportunity to be the summer recreation director for the town of Fairmont, and then later with Robeson County. And I just couldn't turn that down because this was a 10-week program, day after school got out till the day school started back. And I loved it, and I did it for 10 years. So I had to give up the youth center because of that. My last year there, in 82, my dear friend, Kirk Nobles, who was teaching a weightlifting class for me in the recreation department, said to me one day, let's start a business. I got all the weights that we ever need. You got the business skills. You got the connections downtown. Let's do that. So I found us a building, and we opened up Let's Get Physical Fitness Center, and I had to give up summer recreation. And we stayed in business from 1982 to 1989. In fact, I opened up a second business while we were running that business called Kicks and Flicks. It was aerobics and video rental. I guess what I'm trying to tell you with this background is from 1970 to 1990, there was forms of recreation for our young people in this town, whether it was publicly sponsored or privately sponsored. And then in 1990, I had to give all that up. I got married. I was teaching school. I was on the town council. And I had to give up those things. And unfortunately, except for the Civitans and their summer baseball league, recreation suffered in the town of Fairmont. I don't mean suffered physically, but there just was a hole there where young people had something to do all the time. Now, the county had recreation, and of course, the Civitans had Little League Baseball, Dixie Youth Baseball, Babe Ruth Baseball, whatever term they were using that year. But as far as having a facility where young people could come every day or in the evenings and enjoy themselves, we didn't have that here. And I regret that. But my life has been shifted around with its priorities over the years. But now, as mayor of Fairmont, I am determined to see a change. When I was mayor before, from 2005 to 2013, I formed a commission led by the Methodist pastor at that time, Reverend Harold Salmon. And there were 12 people on that committee. They met twice a month, trying to find a way to have a youth facility or activity, permanent activity for the youth of Fairmont. The best answer we could come up with was a Boys and Girls Club connection. But that didn't work out because the Lumberton chapter of the Boys and Girls Clubs, thought we would be horning in on them, trying to compete. And so they weren't too helpful with suggestions and support. And so another opportunity came and went. I was elected again the mayor in 2021, and I've been mayor for 3.5 years now. I've had 2 different town managers in this time. Hank Raper, who left to go to Siler City, and now my dear friend, Jerome Chestnut. As you all know, we got $3.25 million last year from the state legislature to build a new town hall. And we're going to do that. We've already opened the bids and chosen the contractor and all of that. But we don't have enough money to build a town hall and a youth center connected, not with $3.25 million. And if you'll permit me a secret, I apologize to you, but it's a positive secret. We have a plan currently to build or to facilitate a youth center in Fairmont. And it's going to happen. Just as sure as I'm sitting in my study in front of this camera, there is going to be a youth center in Fairmont. It may not be like the one in Lumberton, if there is one. It may not be like one in Burlington, North Carolina. It may not be like one in, obviously, New York City or Chicago. But we're going to have a place where young people can go, assemble, enjoy themselves, participate in activities, and say, boy, I was glad that that place opened. I loved it. Mom, Dad, Granny, Granddad, it's a wonderful place. Where's it going to be? I can't tell you that right now. Not because I don't know. I know an idea that we have. I'm not at liberty to spill the beans because it may not work out that way. And then I would have lied to you. And I've never done that. Not in 45.5 years have I lied to any citizen knowingly. All I know is this. There will be a youth center in the town of Fairmont at some point in the next period of time. It is going to be inside the city limits of Fairmont. I can't tell you how much it's going to cost. I can't tell you how many rooms it's going to have in it. But I will tell you this. On the 26th of September, the wonderful lady that I work with, co-sponsor of the Fairmont Youth Council and Youth Activities Group, Chrissy Andrews, and I are going to have a opening meeting and a cookout for young people. And at that meeting, I'm going to hand out sheets of paper with places for people to write down 5 things on them. I'm going to run off hundreds of copies, and I'm going to give them to the people that show up and say, Monday morning, I want you to go to school and give these out to your friends and ask them to put down what they want in a youth center, what they think should be in a youth center. I'm also contacting the principal at Fairmont High School, Dr. Barton, and the principal at Fairmont Middle School, Dr. Tyndall, and I'm going to ask for a way, if they would permit me, to get information to their students so they can write down their choices. Then I will take all of those choices and take out the duplicates, and then those are the choices that I'm going to present to, when we get around to it, the contractor, the architect, the designer of this building, so that they will know what we want the kids to have. It won't do me any good to have what I want in the building or anybody on the town council or Mr. Chestnut at all, because we're not going to use that facility. It'll be used by the young people. So in closing, don't applaud too loud now. In closing, let me say this. You elected me mayor of Fairmont in 2005 and 2013. I didn't fail you in any task that I undertook. Some things couldn't get done because of finances and because of paperwork and because of other issues. But I didn't fail you then. You elected me again in 2021. I've held the job for 4.5 years, currently to this day. And I don't believe I've let you down now. But just as sure as I am sitting in my study at 405 North Main Street, filming this to you from my heart, there will be a youth center in the town of Fairmont in the future, and it will be useful for the young people of this town. If you believe that, if you believe what I'm saying to you is the truth, I want you to vote for me on November the 4th, or earlier if you choose to vote early, and then sit back and watch what I just said to you happen. Thank you so much for coming into my home and allowing me to speak to you today. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with another video on a topic that is interesting to you, I hope. Thank you and goodbye.